Hey guys, how you doing? I'm here after my glorious. Sorry, what? After my glorious performance. Uh, no, but to the topic. We have Gameking versus Metranos, the second semi-finals. Also, gonna be an interesting matchup because they are both really good players. So, what do we have matchup-wise?
We have Foltis. The only player that brought Foltis is Gameking. He
Oh.
also has Dagon, I guess that's expected. He has King Bran, a very standard list as well. And he also has Dwarves, which I guess you're a fan of. But this is the very odd version with Isengrim and Morin that
Oh
maybe
yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're
with the
not
Moran.
so much a fan of. So definitely some interesting stuff. I played Gameking a few times on ladder. I know he's a very good player. He made the Gameking monsters list very popular last patch. So
Yeah.
I think he definitely has Hearthstone experience as well. I didn't really follow that scene too much, but you must, I think, know him as
Yeah.
a Hearthstone player too. So definitely a favorite, I think, to get to the finals maybe.
Yeah, definitely a solid player. Also already doing quite well on the Gwent ladder.
Hmm.
Has reached several times rank 1. Also showed some solid gameplay here. Gonna be interesting. Also very known for his monster play.
Hmm.
And we're also gonna see a little bit of reveal action or
Yeah.
middle action. And Nivka doing quite well in this tournament, huh?
Hmm.
Quite
Very
cool.
good. Very good win rates actually. Much
Yeah,
better than a lot of people expected, I think, for
that's very
sure.
cool.
But we do see just Dagon, King Brandon, Ethan, which I think are the most popular leaders by far.
Hmm.
We did see a little bit of Hensel and also, of course, Full Test with Game King, but I
Hmm.
think Ethne and King Brand were the most played leaders for sure this tournament.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So we
Very.
have Dagon Vent.
Wow,
Uh,
surprising.
Actually very cool. So we're gonna see a lot of variety again.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm very happy. We can see some Nilfgaard action, Foltest action. Eifne is yeah very well represented this tournament,
Hmm.
and Bran as well. But it's very cool because normally like the last deck is like the flex deck,
Yeah.
and this is where we see some variety.
Hmm.
So yeah, so one player playing. So we have Metranos playing dwarves. He plays common, discard Skelliga,
And reveal.
and reveal a Milfgard, I would call it.
Yeah, it's kind of a hybrid.
Kind of a hybrid.
Yeah.
And then we have Game King playing also the standard discard Skelliger deck. It's pretty common.
Yeah.
We have also dwarfs
With the Morin though, and the
with the
Isengrim.
Moran and Igni. Moran not being
No,
yeah.
I also don't. I mean, it can be good, but it's hard to find really good value with it, I think.
But the Eifne is definitely very interesting.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can like steal the horn out of the
And he
opponent's
plays the
graveyard.
Glyce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the
The discard
Skellige
mirror. Oh
discard
no, this
mirror.
is this is completely dependent on draws most of the time. So we'll
Is
see.
it also not? Yeah, I mean, Miro is definitely defined a lot generally.
Hmm.
Who starts first? But actually, at this mirror, it isn't the case, right? Because we have these ships.
Yeah, but it really depends on I think the two most important draws, more than the ships, are Donar and Lugos round one. If you have Lugos, even if you go second, you have the coin flip advantage, obviously, and you can get rid of the long ship very easily. And they can't really play another long ship or res it with a Freya because then they either are
Hmm.
down 1 point or they tie. So there's not really a good solution to the Lugos. Or the Donar even. So it's tough. I mean, if you start first and your opponent has those answers, which apparently in my ladder opponents anyway, they always have those answers. So it's definitely tough for sure, I think.
PJ Salt.
We see two pirates there as well, which isn't too good.
Oh, yeah, we see some very, let's say, that's actually very rough. Like Metranos, he can go second here. He
Hmm.
has all 3 ships.
And he has Donar and Lugos, which are the two, I think, the big answers round one.
I think this is like from the starting hands wise, that's very well tailored
Yep,
from Metranos.
definitely.
Like,
And also, Gameking plays a version with 3 Freyas and only 2 pirate captains,
oh, yeah.
which I personally think is a bit unoptimal because round one becomes super clunky. You have already so many things you want to mulligan, and having Freyas as well, it makes it so you have two dead cards in hand if you don't have the skirmisher in the graveyard. So it's definitely can get really hairy for Gameking, I think. Nope, as we said, there's a Lugos. He probably discarded a skirmisher as well, which makes his Freya better.
Ah, that's gonna be
And
something
yeah,
here,
he
right?
reses it here, it's a tie. So
Yeah, this is where it starts getting rough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now he resurrects the ship. Then the Donut's gonna come down most likely.
Or he can take the pass as well. He goes 2 cards up. In a mirror match, it's definitely not bad.
What is better, winning on equal? Probably winning on equal in the mirror, right? Because after you shot this shit, like also the resurrection is already used suboptimal.
Yeah, it's not using with Ceres, so it's already one less Ceres tick you have over the course of the whole game, so definitely not ideal. And having 2 pirates in hand is also one less discard, which isn't just the pirates, and the fact it's you have a he goes for the pass.
Yeah, takes the pass.
But it's also 3 less points on the pirate captains. Well, 2 points in Gameking, so deck only runs 2. But
So you just invest the Algierd, or
yeah, I think I go with the old geared.
yeah. I mean, you just hope that you don't draw your third pirate, and then you're pretty much good to go. It's a little bit risky of a pass sometimes, because if there are like 3 ships on the board and the opponent starts discarding, it's kind of rough. But I guess he has the tools to play against it. Like he has a Donar, and he has his own 3 ships.
Yeah, it's tough because when you win the round, you go first in the next round, and going first, like you said earlier, if you have the long chips first, it's sometimes an advantage as well. And he already used Lugo, so that's one less answer to the long chips as well.
Wow!
So I go for the tie.
That's very interesting,
That
right?
is very interesting. And he wasted Lugos already, so you traded Lugos for. I mean, he's a card down, of course, but
So
you have to think if
that's gonna be quite a game here.
yeah.
He didn't get the pirate, was very important.
But he did draw the Olgierd.
I think power-wise, I mean the is super important here.
Very important to cycle and try and draw.
You get rid of the Morkor. The spy is not that good, but if you get Coral, it can be very strong. I mean, I favor Metranos' position here a lot.
Yeah, 3 long chips and being a card up.
Yeah. So if you're here in Gameking spot, most important thing is using the hero power before you use Ermion, right? Otherwise you draw your
pirates.
Yeah.
And it's tough. Like going second, it's tough. I think when they tie, it's a coin flip, or no, whoever goes for second in the first round goes first.
Then,
Yeah. So it's not a coin
that's what
flip.
it is, exactly.
Which is really not that bad in the mirror matchup, like you said earlier. But that's already the big RNG. Donar coming in strong for this series as well, although it doesn't count for a Ceres tick, so it's not maybe as strong. But yeah, I guess he has enough Freyas and Raiders to.
Donar is just full speed getting
yeah.
this Raider.
Let's see if we get the
That's
return.
quite funny.
Oh, he missed it there.
He missed it? What did he? Oh, he got a pirate?
Yeah,
okay.
it's not that
too
bad.
amazing.
But it's definitely not a Raider, for sure. A little bit worse.
Man, we will see some warship armada here.
Yeah.
Shooting
It's
really
gonna be
hard.
A naval battle.
Yeah, I mean, 3 ships versus 1 ship, that's really...
Yeah, unless he draws more with Ermion, but then he's risking drawing the pirates if he wants to do it before Bran, and then if he draws a ship, then it's a bit too late because there's not really any discard triggers aside from... Yeah, there's no discard triggers at all after the pirate, Ermion, and Bran, so...
Yeah.
It's definitely tough. I think it's a tough position for Gameking. Yeah, just losing coin flip is huge in the mirror. We see why here. And
yeah, but I think there were some options. Like maybe he should have just played the card.
Yeah, I don't think he should have played the Freya until the long ship. I would have just played the Olgierd and looked for a pass a bit later on, playing Bran without the long ships, and then even passing into even if you have a carryover and your opponent still doesn't, it's not that bad. Going into round 2 and losing it.
Yeah, yeah, maybe like forcing out some mechanics from your opponent. Like if he can possibly like force out the long ships from Metranos because they take quite some time to deploy, and then maybe just pass and have more even rounds on round 3. That's probably a thing.
If we played Olgierd into Bran with Ceres, Morkvarg, and Raider, and then Metranos got greedy and played 2 long ships and didn't match the score, then he could pass there and just equal it out. And he already wasted Lugos, Metranos, so you're going into the round in a lot better position, especially with Ceres and Morkvarg already having the ticks and stuff.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So Ceres goes, Ceres has quite some impact still. The Skirmisher just to make your resurrections not bleak. And
I think it's really important in the Brand Mirror to have Raiders in hand, so Donor has a smaller chance of being able to steal them. I did that in my games as well against Mogwai. I made sure if I had Ermion, I have a lot of Raiders in hand, so there's no chance that Donor can really steal my Raiders.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's true. If Donald starts stealing raiders, that's not the best
It's
experience.
the same with Henselt, Reaver Hunters in general against Skellige. If you have him in hand, you're a lot safer than if you have him in your deck.
Yeah, Donald as a mechanic, he can be tricky. Also when you play like Monster with Necro, it's just the like Bros cards where just if he steals the right Bros cards, he can be quite nasty.
And there's so much cards that lose so much value. Olgerd and Morkvarg just play for 9 vanilla strength units. Ceres just gonna maybe get 1 activation. So.
Wow, now we got these 3 warships on the board.
Now he's ready to go, and none of them are dead. So.
Yeah, they're definitely ready to
the
go.
Udrik is going to be a +6 spy maybe if he draws a raider as well, and if he has coral. So it's going to be interesting.
They are definitely like they are forcing out some.
It's going to be a lot of shots.
So crazy.
And it's really rare to see 3 longships because most decks you play against have some form of control. Targeted control, but this deck really doesn't. It just relies on the long ships, maybe trying to get one out with a bit of RNG with the shots, but
it's not even good to discard the Olgierd, right? Yeah, you just want to get these stats.
Yeah, it's better to get the raider out.
Yeah, I think so as well, right?
For sure. Because I mean, Olger's useless. He's not going to come out of the graveyard.
Yeah, I think
at
so.
all. Like it doesn't even count for its Ceres tick. So
yeah, I think you just discard the raider there.
Yeah.
There's no reason to leave it in your deck. Bam.
And you also make it so if he's not gonna have decoys.
So they are both on even cards now, but Metranos is magically 15 stats ahead and still has
he still has pirates, he still has Udrik, and he still has Ermion.
Oh, so. This is really. Yeah, so we can do the draw. Oh, it's a decent draw. Pirate captains, yeah. Just get rid of these raiders in your hand. I mean, I guess.
Are they better than?
When what?
Yeah, with only 1 long ship. You can leave them in hand and just discard them at the end by roping. But even then, they'd only get 7 value plus 9. So yeah, it would be the same as Olgerd, really.
That's also quite interesting.
Yeah, it's a really good mechanic. When I've been streaming it a lot, Discard Brand, and it's really fun to be able to rope and be like, oh no, I have to do this. You know, it's not my fault. I'm not BMing. Awesome. It's really interesting, the mechanic. But yeah, it would have been the same points as Olgerd from hand. So that's interesting for sure.
So now you can also the pirates coming down for sweet 15 stats. Or what is it? Or is it what?
7 plus 4 times 2, so 12 plus 7, 19 points.
19 stats. Yeah.
Quite a bit of points for a bronze unit.
It's crazy.
That thins for 2 as well, so it's a lot of value.
Super crazy. Also, the Gameking having a problem like more fucking Olgierd are not really stat bombs. They're more like investments into the future.
They're the longships, but it's too late now. You have no more triggers, so.
Yeah, it's also like there's a lot of damage already done. I don't even know if it's worth to revive these longships.
No, I don't think.
I mean, you still have some discard.
It's 12 points value still. The skirmish is only worth 10, so I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's very well worth it. I wouldn't mind it. But you can also just say...
It's normally riskier, though, because you have to get the value, all the discards before it dies, but in this matchup where Gameking does not have much targeted control for that longship, there's really no risk. You know it's going to get the 12 points of value for sure. So it's maybe not that bad.
Do you discard the spy here eventually?
With no raiders left in your deck, I might, and without coral in hand, I think I do.
Yeah, or maybe you should discard a Morkvarg as well. Yeah, for sure, right?
I think it would be Morkvarg and spy, maybe.
Yeah, I think so as well. Unless you say you don't have resurrections left. I think you only have 1 resurrection, alright? Would you have skirmisher and a ship in the graveyard? And pirates. Yeah, you have enough.
Yeah, he has enough for sure.
I don't mind the spy discard here.
And he can leave Morkvarg in his hand as well, right? And it still does the same. Remember this unit is discarded, destroyed, resurrected. Yeah, you can do the same thing with the Morkvarg as you do with the raider. Just rope at the end.
Oh yeah,
and he comes to discard as well. So
yeah, it's very
definitely more than enough.
That's cool.
Discards.
Oh, I like that idea. Definitely a solid option. But if you just look at his stats here,
nah, it's just not enough. It's not even close.
Like Metranos still has a card more, and he's ahead in stats.
And he has better card averages as well, or similar, I guess. Well, Gramis is worth more than Olgerd.
Yeah,
more than Freya. Yeah,
the Gramis is pretty good.
Even with a card less, he's still.
Also, I think the graveyard has a better quality. Oh, it's interesting. He didn't even discard the series with the hero power. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. He didn't even get it yet. I mean. I mean,
Nah, yeah, it's a blowout. He's going to definitely win by quite a bit. Even now, with their current hand, I think Metranos still has higher value in hand. It's 15 plus 15 plus 13 plus 9. So 30, 43.
yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
gonna be
51.
interesting,
So
right?
definitely much more than Gameking has. And no one has Coral, so there's really no worry for a big tempo swing at the end.
Yeah, Coral is also luring there at the bottom somewhere. Yeah, you still have a good resurrection here with this skirmisher, but points-wise at the end, because
And,
both
well, and the Ceres as well.
okay, versus
But
Ceres.
it's still obviously not enough. Just we just see in the
Yeah, it's
15s
just
rather
gonna
than
be
14s,
like
yeah.
15 stats more.
No, or more even. 5 plus 13, so
Yeah,
and plus 2,
around
so
that margin.
20 points in the end.
Pirate captains are also bigger.
Yeah, 1 point bigger. And there's no more discard triggers.
In the end, it goes really straightforward. I mean, it's a mirror after all. Metranos really having less blanks and a better card quality overall. Yeah. I mean, 20 stats in Grand, that's quite something.
Yeah,
I
that's a
would say.
lot for the last run for sure. You definitely know you messed up somewhere. But he did also lose a coin flip, and coin flips, they're maybe not as important as people think in some situations, but in the mirror matchup for sure, it's the most important. Not so much in this one if no one has Lugos and Donor, but if they do have Lugos and Donor, it amplifies losing the coin flip a lot. So
yeah, definitely.
definitely a tough matchup for Gameking, especially losing the first round of the first game of a series is also very tough.
Yeah, I mean, this the mirror in this series. I mean, they have quite similar decks.
Yeah,
the
for
only
sure.
difference is really this.
Maybe we run into two more like another mirror with Squirtle as well with the dwarf. So maybe
yeah,
it's a
it might also
full-blown
happen,
mirror
right?
matchup.
Although both have quite different lists here. I mean, if I look at it, these are quite some different lists. One is pretty standard, like Metranos one.
Well, he has Royal did not. Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
he
not a
has.
Royal Decree.
Okay, yeah, that's a standard one.
That was
Yeah.
before. And sure.
And then he has Isengrim, he has a Glyce. I mean, this is not as standard, the dwarves. So, Metranos takes the first game. Obviously, as you said, a very strong player. And it's going to be interesting to see if Gameking can climb back in. Also, psychologically, losing the first game is also sometimes very heavy because you have to come back. You have to, make quite a climb to get back into the game. So, I guess we're going to see if he can do it. If he can maybe plays King Bran again. Once he maybe thinks it's the strongest deck he's playing, so maybe he's going to want to try and get the win with that first, and then move on to his next deck. But yep, that's exactly what he does. He plays King Bran into dwarves. You're a very heavy dwarf player. What do you think about this matchup?
It's actually pretty close. It very much comes down if there's Lugos and Donar in the hand in the beginning. I think these two are really the key cards.
Yeah, I agree.
There's such a big difference if you have Donar in the early turns or like in the later turns. He's just Donar. He's just the 7-statter, maybe sometimes discarding something or stealing your opponent something. But in general, I think getting him early on is so important. But Lugos already just kills a dwarf.
We see Lugos, we see Coral, but no Donar. And also no way to cycle the deck, no Ermion, and no Uderic. So not going to be finding Donar this first turn, which is obviously very important for Metranos. But the Lugos, as you said, it immediately takes out one dwarf for sure. There's no way to counter it, really, I think.
Yeah.
And Coral as well, obviously, being kind of a trade with Commander's Horn in terms of value, with Ethne also factoring in. So
here Metranos getting the Dennis. He will also be able I think his plan is using the double cross here 2 times. One time with the hero power, one time just out of the hand. Now Gameking can decide. Going second here for the Skelliger player is also quite impactful.
Gameking was a fan of playing Fog in the front row right at the start of the turn, and he knows dwarf players want to go for a long round 1 to be able to get as much resilience as possible.
Yeah.
So, and he knows that if he does clear, he's already ahead because he's playing a 5-point silver and he's playing a 0-point first light pretty much to clear. And he knows that if he does clear, it's taking away from a rally opportunity. He can not thin his deck as much. He can not bring maybe a 3rd Magam Defender or a Dwarven Mercenary to move the cards out of the fog. So I think it's definitely a good play. It feels kind of bad because it's like, oh, I'm playing this for 5 instead of 13 points, which it can get just playing the Blood Cloning Roar. But
over the round,
it's
definitely
over a long round, especially if you know that he has to commit to a long round. Because if he doesn't commit to a long round, then you can just try past round 2 even, and to go for a long round 3.
Yeah,
where resilience is just kind of dead.
And he's clearing it
Yeah.
out. Very interesting. So yeah, not much to say. So the 2 damage. So Gramis is just 5 stats here, and therefore Metranos invested a bronze card. So that's quite good. You get a silver card
Yeah, I
for
mean,
+5. It's not too
silver
bad.
cards are on average worth maybe like 4 points more than a bronze card, or
Yeah.
5 points depending on the situation. So I think it was a good trade. And also it's not just the stat value, but also the not thinning, the not being able to thin more cards out. So I think it was a decent play for sure.
Actually, this the Harker supporter is a quite interesting
Yeah, it
card
counters the
here.
Lugos
Counters the Lugos, but not really
because
because
of the
one dwarf is
discards,
gonna
yeah.
suffer, right?
And the discard target can also hit that Mecham defender anyway, so
Yeah.
maybe it dies anyway regardless.
The second ship is quite a pain here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you don't want to. Yeah, it's so harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Like one ship you can kind of handle,
Yeah.
but if there's a second one coming online and you still like, if he would have more stats, he could at least consider passing, yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like this, not really.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
the
want
fact he has no resilient units on the board yet, it's also doesn't. It would
Yeah.
be a better pass if he had a really resilient unit that he could have use to
Yeah.
at least not allow the dry pass in round 2.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have one. He decided to play the Dennis first and then the support instead
Yeah.
of just playing Yarpin. I guess he can access Yarpin until Ethnes or the Mecham defender.
So hero power is coming down here.
Mhm.
You just discard Severus, Morkrak, and Orchid, or what is it?
Yep, that's what I'd go for. I think
Yeah.
it's. Yeah, if you have either Morkvark or Olgerd in hand against dwarves, I'd normally go for Skirmisher maybe. If I especially Gameking's version that plays 3 Freyas, he wants to definitely cycle that Skirmisher and get it as big as possible for round 3. So it's like a really good top deck as well to maybe combat some of the resilience from Ithling maybe in round 2. But yeah, I'd definitely go for. Oh, he has Olgerd in hand actually, so yeah, I'd go for Skirmisher personally instead of Raider. Or Donar, he wants to.
Oh.
He guarantees he has it for this round.
So yeah.
But he also only draws it 1 time maximum this game, so he can't counter the Ithling round 2.
I guess discarding a donor here is actually good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. It's a hard call to make for sure because you can get greedy and think, oh, I mean, if he had Ermion, maybe he thinks, oh, I can draw it with Ermion maybe, and then I just draw it twice. I can take for later as well in round 2, but
Yeah, it's not only that. It's also you get this bronze card into a graveyard, which gives you a better option. And getting the second lock. I mean, now you have Lugos and Donar.
Yeah. I think he has the tools to win this round for sure.
Yeah.
And also in round 2, if you keep Donar for like a Sigrifa res to counter the Ithling, the Ithling's almost always played after the players that's bleeding passes. So there's really, you can't counter anyway because you already passed, so you can't Donar that round anyway. So I think it's correct. You can only really use Donar in round 1 in most occasions, I think, against dwarves. I don't know if you agree with that.
I think, yes, you use Donar just round 1. I mean, like this, you can just force the round out very heavily because you have the tools to win the round, I think. And also have the tools to lock down the resilience. So I don't think you will be in much trouble here. Like this probably just gets Donar. You want to Donar Yapen as early as possible. So as Gameking, I mean, this was quite a good stat swing. So, but as Gameking, I think you can just resurrect the Donar and kill it. I mean, at least they removed.
Yeah, Donar is worth 7, so with Sigrifa, it's worth 6 in round 1. So it's but it got discarded with the brand, so it's an extra point. So it is worth 10. So it'd be 10 points plus a discard.
Yeah.
It was enough to play Donar and then Olgerd if Metranos passed as well. So I think both plays were good. Regardless, I guess he just want to cycles out the pirate, so he can't have bad top decks round 2.
Yeah, but I think you could have Donut first and then cycle the pirates, right? I mean, if now he's not ahead of Metranos anyway, so he's kind of in the same situation, just that the Yapen still grows. So maybe he just gave away 1 stat here, but I don't think it's the biggest deal.
So now Donar would win by 2 if he Donars now. If he steals a unit, of course, if he steals a spell, which is also very possible against dwarves.
Yeah, it's true.
He would still be
although I had
2
quite
points
some
behind.
spells in the hand, right? Yeah, it's interesting.
I think you had a similar interaction where you were expecting Donar to do
yeah,
and then you stole a spell, and it put you on a tie, I think, or maybe 2 points behind instead of being 2 points ahead.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
And it's definitely a thing you don't count on so much with Donar. You expect to steal a unit most of the time, so it's definitely a hard call to make.
So, what are you going to do here?
Yeah, it's interesting.
He wants to shoot with Lugos now, and he's hoping to kill it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
almost.
yeah.
And I mean, it's hard to buff that unit as well because it's alone on that row. So you have to use a Dwarven Mercenary, which he does not have. So
That's true. I mean,
it's a risky play though for sure. I mean, I guess he doesn't know that he has the third or the second Macam Defender, so he didn't really save it for that. But
that's interesting. So, I mean, maybe just resurrecting the donor was fine there.
yeah, and he has no more discard triggers anyway, so he can't really count on the trigger hitting that Yarpins. It's going to survive, I think, for the next round.
I don't really know what he's saving a donor for. It's the only thing.
I think would have definitely locked the Yarpin and saved Lugos for, you know, the. I guess for casting, we're seeing all the cards. It's easier to kind of cast it and
You
say.
could have at least removed the resilient minion,
Yeah.
right? So, what's he going to do?
Well, I guess he also knows that the front row units are going to get buffed and not Yarpin. So he knows that the lock's going to be maybe more valuable in the front row. And Yarpin was already a fairly low value. It was only 9 points. It would grow a bit, but I think with the Commander's Horn and the Immune Boost and Thunderbolt Potion coming down on the front row, the lock's going to be worth more on the front row, I think, on the 9-point Macam Defender, probably.
So he's just saving the Sigdrifa. The Algier, doesn't he want to play him as well?
Yeah, you should play him soon, I think.
So Horn is coming down here for 16. Or, I mean, he want to save Ifleen for the toggle probably. So yeah, we can just Horn here, so...
So the safe play would be a Coral almost instantly, I think.
Safe play. I mean, you can also just drop...
Olgierd. Yeah, Olgierd's enough by a point.
Or just Resurrect Donar.
Also. That's also a good option.
So,
Yeah, I think you should do Donar first because Metranos can just threaten with the pass after this, and then you can't, you know, it's just a dead play if you Donar after, obviously. So
yeah, I definitely like that. I mean, the Olgierd is ties up, and then probably Metranos has the option to pass, when he can go into Ifleen. But I definitely like the option of resurrecting Donar here. I think it's fine.
The goddess protect you from
yeah. And if you probably get a minion here since there are a lot of spells in the hand. That's quite a big difference, getting a minion.
Oh, he hits the unit he just locked though, so he does not kill the Yarpin, which is unfortunate.
It's not the biggest deal.
Yeah, it's only 2 carryover, but it is 2 carryover. Maybe it can decide, you know, a tie or a win, so you never know. He is in a pretty good position, I think. Very little carryover. There are some buffs, but of course the buffs are only buffing 1 resilient unit, so not the ideal situation, I think. And he does still have Coral in hand. So if Metranos keeps on playing, his carryover is going to get devalued over time for sure. Especially with Olgierd coming in and also adding more carryover to Gameking's guys, so and the Ceres triggers, of course. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm not sure Metranos is going to have the option to Ifleen round 2 without going heavily down in card range, or maybe not even beating Gameking with his carryover, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, he's definitely trying.
You can play the Olgierd here.
Yeah, the thing is that Gameking has such good power plays. Now you can, for example, just develop the Olgierd and forcing out probably the Thunderbolt Potion, and I think
Coral.
Yeah, when Coral comes down, denying also the carryover of the 13 strength dwarf. This Yarpin really has not a big appearance there.
Yeah, only 2 strength.
I mean, probably Metranos' dream here is kind of playing the Ifleen for toggling, but it's not gonna happen. Yeah. Yeah, quite bleak.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Lugos, Donar, Coral. It makes for
he
a very...
got himself the Donar.
Yeah, it makes for an interesting round 1 for sure. Skulga has a bit of an early Coral. I guess he's kind of scared. Or he thinks there's no more buffs left because he already used the Commander's Horn and the Immune Boost. But so there is still the Thunderbolt Potion.
What he could do here is do Ifleen for double Thunderbolt for 19 stats.
Yeah.
And when Gameking will develop the Olgierd, and when he's totally out of it. Or you just pass.
But if you Ifleen, you don't have it round 2, yeah, pass.
This is not... I mean, probably Gameking should also... I mean, he will get the Ceres now. That's a big problem. Problem for Metranos here at Gameking actually has more carryover. So Gameking can basically just go pass if he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably get rid of the Raider or the ship.
The
right.
ship might be worth less
Ooh, the
because
spy as well.
depends on the Ceres triggers you need for round 3, but the ship might have been worth less. Yeah, if he passes here, he either denies any carryover for round 3 and goes a card up, or he forces the Iflin out, and it's obviously there's only 2 very low strength bodies on the board, so it's not even worth it, I think. So yeah, it's a very good position for Gameking. I think he should definitely pass. Even if he has the Ulrich and the Olgerd, I would pass, I think, for sure, and just mulligan the Ulrich next turn. Because if you Ulrich now, you just give the opponent, the chance to Iflin and,
Totally agree.
and keep
Totally
the
agree.
Ulrich. So.
I think it's a very, very big deal. So
See how he plays it out here.
yeah, the Ulrich is more doing you giving you a disadvantage and advantage here. You give him the option to flee.
Although the fact that the units aren't on the same road also makes it. Yeah, no, I definitely pass here.
Yeah, I do.
You get this. You get the same thing. You get the card advantage regardless. Maybe he wants to cycle his deck a bit more, but. Or maybe he can just 2-0 him. Maybe even if he tries to adrenaline rush with Iflin.
That's true. Yeah, I like this, like 2-0ing eventually.
And he has a safeguard with the Olgerd and the Ceres next round as well, maybe coming out. So I think it was safer to pass though. You achieve the same thing as playing the spy. You just have it kind of like a force mulligan next round, but it denies a lot of the Ifling value and the risk of maybe.
Or maybe just playing Olgier.
Yeah, because it also unless he can pass you in a card, but.
Yeah.
But with separate units and not a way to buff 2 units at the same time, it's kind of hard. You had to make up 10 points, I think.
So as Metranos here, you could just play the Dwarf, right? Would be enough to overcome. He still has the Roach in the deck, right?
Is Metranos... Yeah, he is playing the Dwarf, so... Yeah, I think he does still have the Roach in the deck. I think no gold were played.
Yeah, there's no gold played yet,
Round 1.
So... Yeah, now it's the...
Now the longer Gameking plays in this round, he either 2-0s him or he deals with a lot more carryover because he does have the potions. He does have the possibility of Iflin coming down if he wants to get more carryover, and Gameking does pass. So
maybe what he wants to do is force out the Iflin for buff.
Yeah.
And then he just...
but then he has to deal with a Magam Defender that's going to be potentially worth 17 points, so it's a lot of carryover as well. Even if he gets a card down. This is the tricky part with dwarves. You either bleed them very successfully, or you have to dry pass, because the more rounds you play into it, the more of a threat Iflin is, the bigger the carryover gets with the potion. So
definitely.
Even if you want to bleed dwarves and you have decks that bleed successfully, or that benefit from a very short round 3, you're still playing into the dwarves game. Is just giving him more buffs and bigger units. Like, he started with a 6 and a 2, and now he has the 12, he has a 10 to Iflin, so it gets a lot riskier. And he's still ahead in tempo as well.
So Gameking is gonna get rid of the ship. It's not really getting better for him.
No. I think the Ulrich was a mistake. I think it was just to force mulligan round 3 and just hope you get better top decks. And I mean, the Iflin was still a big tempo player.
And you don't play, the Iflin does also not do too much on round 3 then.
Especially with no units, because he had no adrenaline rush.
But I think it's gonna work out here. I mean, he's gonna play the Pirate Captain now, and then the Iflin has to be played for buff. But still, there's gonna be
17 points carryover.
21, right? Is it?
Oh, right, it's 2 times. Yeah, of course. It's 21. That's still a lot of carryover for only like one card advantage. You have to.
Or is it gonna be enough if he resurrects the skirmisher? He has 14 plus 14.
No. With Iflin, no, Iflin's 19. Or no, Iflin's.
Iflin is 11. It's not enough. Like if Iflin is not going to be enough, I think it's off. It's a little bit off.
11, so 52.
Yeah, it's 8
yeah,
instead
he
off.
needs 24 points.
Yeah.
He has 14.
You can just 2-0 him.
yeah, he can.
You probably should 2-0 him.
See if he makes that call.
If he passes now, it's so bad for
Oh,
him.
really bad.
Yeah, you just try to 2-0 him here. You do, like, he sees it. He sees it. Like, getting Iflin here for Adrenaline Rush, that's really painful.
I think the most important part about dwarves...
he gets the Roach still. Oh, actually, that's more than 19 then. That's 10. That's 23.
Oh, no, yeah.
That's enough. That's enough. Because the Roach also goes into the right row.
Oh, my goodness.
That's insane. Actually, if the Roach doesn't go into the front, it's 8 stats less.
Yeah. No, it wasn't enough then, because with the he was ahead by like 3 points, I think, still. Two.
It's pretty funny.
You
Wow.
definitely see it in Gameking's face. He definitely now you pass and you're a card up, but
I think you still have enough. I think you can get the
especially
series
if he
out, right?
draws the Ceres, yeah, for sure. If he needs one
You need
kind
one
of
more
resurrect, yeah.
one more
Or a
resurrect.
Raider,
right.
anything that can draw it out. Because Raider's still worth 12 points if it draws a Ceres. Captain.
Yeah. I
know the
think.
top decks too.
Yeah. Igni.
Igni. Oh,
Is this 10? I think it's enough, right?
10, 31.
It's enough. It's enough.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. 14 plus 15, so 29.
It's enough. Yeah,
plus-
this is.
yeah,
I think you just keep it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the dwarf comes down. He brings it up to 31. He can play pirate captain.
Goes for 29, so he
Skirmisher.
wins by
I think is it one stat?
by 3 points. I think.
Oh,
no,
it's
Skirmisher is even
Skirmisher,
bigger
it's
by 4
15.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 points.
Yeah,
Ceres is
that's
almost
quite-
coming out, but not quite enough.
It was super close.
Yeah, so Gameking wins it anyway. I do think we both agree that the correct play in round 2 was maybe to not play the Udrik, just get the card advantage by dry passing and just having a forced mulligan. You deal with a lot of this carryover, but you do deal with Ithling, but still I think it was better. Especially with the Roach, that was really lucky with the Roach.
Yeah.
Game deciding.
Yeah, the Roach going there. It was very fun.
Luckily for Gameking though, it ended up not costing him the game, and it was unfortunate for sure, but not game deciding, which is always good. I mean, RNG is fun to see, but if it decides games, then maybe it's not as fun for the player suffering from it. So
Why not? It's awesome.
for us, maybe. For him, not so much.
I want to
but-
have some RNG.
So it's a 1-1. We still have to see full test. It's gonna be fun to see. I think he played it very well in his semi-final match. The full test.
Yeah, I also liked it. Like he buffed
The Reaver Scouts, yeah.
The Reaver Scouts.
was
That
really
was pretty
interesting for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah.
So 1-1, we do see Ethany available for both players, and then our good old reveal being one of the funner decks we've seen in this tournament, and also Foltest being also a deck that's only Gameking is playing it. So still some exciting matches for sure, and matches that we haven't seen as much in the tournament. So I guess we'll see who ends up coming out ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting when you have. I want to see the Morin. It's gonna be quite cool.
And the Dwarf Mirror, I want to.
The Dwarf Mirror. you want
That'd
to
be
see.
interesting to see for sure. You
Yeah,
don't
Dwarf-
see too many Dwarf Mirrors in ladder. Dwarf, I don't think is.
It doesn't
represented.
happen too often. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I haven't been playing dwarfs at all, but just in general, I haven't seen too many dwarfs, so I expect that the mirror is pretty rare as well.
So here, how is this mill deck against the dwarves? I think it. I mean, what does he have? Does he have like orcs? Let's see.
Yeah, I think he does run Ox.
Orcs is.
And he runs Peter as well, I think, or
Oh, there's Peter in it, but I think no orcs.
and
yeah.
he has Swears though. Swears can be really good against.
Well,
the
it's
rank
actually
defenders.
very heavily attacked. There's a Peter.
Yeah.
There's an Igni. And wow, this is already the Peter Igni is already good
Yeah.
because also Peter can. Yeah, the Peter is insane against dwarves. Also, the Mangonels are good against dwarves because
Tibor can be good if because the bronze is left in the dwarf deck in round 2 and 3 is they might be dead spells, adrenaline rush. It's definitely interesting.
I think he's fine with this list. Also,
Yeah.
Mill is quite effective against dwarves normally.
He does play the Mangonel first this time. I know in his last reveal match, he took a while to play the Mangonel for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, but he is playing him like the long ships just as early as possible to try and guarantee value. As we said before, he does lose a coin flip, but it's not as bad when you have the Mangonels and the long ships, I think so. And there obviously is no control from dwarves, so
He also like this. Yeah, he has a lot of mill. That's actually super interesting.
yeah, he has a lot of
Mangonels-
thinning in his hand as well. Gameking, he has the Elven Mercs, the
Yeah,
ADC, so maybe he does mill himself.
yeah, I think so.
Ithleen.
I think so.
They're gonna be. We do see the Glyce finally getting some
Value.
spotlight. We're gonna finally see her in action. What can he steal that does reveal play any spells at all? It doesn't. So the Glyce is just a 10 strength gold body. He is not playing any spells in
Yeah, it's
mill,
not
which
too
is really
good,
interesting.
right? Yeah. Oh, well, the double Mangonel. That's definitely.
It's scary. It's like seeing two long ships.
Yeah. With the. I mean, there's luckily for Gameking no Vatir in the hand, but I think he's gonna come. I mean, he has these foot soldiers. So they're gonna draw 2 for sure.
And if he gets lucky and he reveals an enemy Macam defender, Sawir is going to be very valuable as well. taking just milling for 2 and also
yeah,
getting rid of 2 Magnum
If
defenders.
he gets 2 Magnum
That's
defenders,
maybe even game deciding. It might be
crazy.
the biggest play of the game, I think. Taking away 2 resilient units.
If he gets double Markham defender, it's crazy.
Yeah. So Gameking is looking for the pass maybe. He did win the coin flip, so he has a chance to pass the card up. And he does secure some carryover and obviously eliminate the damage over time that Magnos can do, but he loses a lot of control for sure.
It's interesting, bro.
I think these like odd matchups, you don't really know how to play them optimally, so
It makes kind of sense because he has carryover.
yeah, he can't dry pass.
He can dry pass, and
He can maybe keep up in tempo now without the Magnos, and there are no Freyas in this deck. Like you cannot
exactly,
res.
exactly. I
It's
think
very
that's
different
the
to the
big deal.
discard.
That's the big deal, yeah.
Also, reason why reveal maybe is also a lot weaker, apart from some of the golds and silvers being better in Skellige discard. The fact that you can't res a longships again makes him so weak to passing. Actually, I didn't really think about that before, but yeah, that is really really huge.
So here comes out the super foot soldier reveal. What is he gonna do? Yeah, he just reveals all his foot soldiers, right? Yeah, that's quite strong.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam. Ah, decent hero power.
And Dwarf has very little control, so you're not really scared of a last rate or really any kind of control for such a greedy play. I think just stacking that whole front row right at the start. And now the Alchemists, really, they're just ready to reveal the enemy's units and see if he gets lucky with the Magnum Defender. So
maybe you even want to pass quite early on.
yeah, because it deals with the Adrenaline Rush, it deals with the resilient units.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, Gameking will be able to overcome with 1 card, probably. Does he even? He doesn't, right?
I mean, if he really wants, he can play the Ithling, for example, into first light. And he also clears out the Swears problem and gets some resilient units as well. But that might actually be a bad thing if he draws Magnum Defender.
Yeah,
so
exactly, because Spears gets worse,
he just
right?
lost some Swears value. So yeah, it's odd to see when the Avalak is the correct play. Obviously, when we're casting, we see all the cards, so we know when it's optimal. But I think it happened in the last other game as well. I'm not sure what the matchup was, but Avalak also impacted the game in a negative way after he played it. So it's definitely interesting to see. Normally, you want the opponent to draw cards they don't want, like first lights or
so you want to basically use
or
Spears
muster
before.
units, but then sometimes it's also good for the opponent. Or if the opponent, like for example, doesn't have a gold card that he really needs to win the game, and then Avalak draws it for him, it can be interesting as well.
So, do we just Spears it?
He has to take that chance maybe because he hasn't revealed anything else. He doesn't know how many units he has in the hand. I think it's the only unit you really want is Swears in the dwarf matchup. Everything else, unless your goal is to mill and you have some information on regarding the opponent's cards, but he doesn't really have any information. He hasn't revealed any of the opponent's cards in hand, so you can't really make an educated decision. I think. Yeah, you just force the Swears here and hope he gets lucky. You're gonna get 1 Magnum Defender, which isn't. It's still good, a good play, I think. But still 10 cards in the opponent's deck, in Gameking's deck. Although he does still have the Elven Mercenaries, the ADC. So, and yeah, maybe it's. I don't think it's gonna get milled though. I think it's gonna be very hard to get milled.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the longer you play,
the more carryover.
The more carryover there will be. But as it looks now, yeah, I guess he can still play around the Igni. It's very, very important. I think he also knows that there is an Igni.
Well, they have the deck list, each other's deck list, so they definitely know what each player is running. So they definitely know how to, mulligan in advance. Maybe to try and play around Swears, for example. But I guess maybe Gameking got unlucky with having the single Magnum Defender. But
I mean, you could also just say you don't want to play it around anymore. He has to create 17 stats.
There's quite a bit for sure.
Interesting. You also don't have the best time. I mean, I don't mind the pass here.
Yeah, I think it's correct. I mean, it's already a lot of carryover that you allowed for the opponent to get. So maybe it was correct to pass after the Calvite. You bring out the golems. It makes your mulligan a lot better in round 3. But he is going for the Cynthia here, it seems.
Yeah, he just wants to do the big tempo plays, right? But
no, he goes for the pass.
I don't mind this. So how is it? Gameking can create. He can create with Eifner, right?
He should be able to, yeah.
Not with Eifner, with here.
Iflin.
With Iflin.
It's
Iflin
19 points with Thunderbolt Potion on the front row.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be enough. Elven Mercenary is only 14 points with Thunderbolt Potion, so not quite enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he just double Thunderbolts and it should be fine. Yeah, it's perfect because it also gives you carryover.
yep, of course.
And then next round you can just immediately distribute the stats so you don't get ignited. Yeah, this is super good.
And Ifling's not as good, of course, without in round 3 because she's just there for value.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have the Adrenaline Rush play.
It's very important to get these dwarfs immediately split.
Yeah, let's see if he does do that. I mean, even if he does play him, Igni's still going to find a lot of value against dwarves in general. But yeah, that's a lot of carryover
That's a lot
to deal
of
with.
carryover.
Maybe Metranos is now regretting the fact that he allowed these resilient units to get on the board, and maybe that cost him the game as well. So
Actually, Metranos is milling himself quite a little bit. So I am not too sure how successful his mill plan will be.
and Metranos is not playing a Sire, so he can't shuffle cards back into his deck. So it's going to be interesting. Although the Alchemists don't have any more foot soldiers to draw cards, so they just reveal for points on the spotter. So, and he does have one Mangonel, which is going to give him some points as well with the Alchemists and the Vatir.
So I do play on equal cards, but one player has 37
Yeah.
stats already, man.
So I guess Metranos is definitely regretting trying to bleed out the dwarves round 2. Unless you go all the way in and try and 2-0, or you have the right answers like Locks and Coral, and
definitely.
with Skellige, they have a lot of answers for dwarves. It's normally better to just pass round 2, and that immediately takes away half of the value from the potions, from the resilient units, from the dwarves and everything. So
I mean, he does have Igni. I mean, Igni will be good. I would assume it's gonna be like 30 stats in the end, maybe more. But Gameking will first of all play around it. Peter is also gonna be quite impactful.
Cynthia still has good value for a silver. It's going to be 15 points. But Agalias is going to be dead as well for Gameking. So, I mean, there's definitely some interesting interactions. It's not a deck that's played as much, so you don't really know how to call it like from the start. But I think Gameking is at an advantage now with just such a high amount of carryover. It's really noticeable.
Yeah, I think the big deal is that he wasn't really able to mill him, and he also gave him too much carryover into the third round then. So I think it's looking very, very dire for the reveal player here.
I think we're both happy that Gameking wasn't milled. I think after this tournament, we're both glad that at least one player wasn't milled. Gameking does survive the milling. I guess the deck wasn't as tuned for milling all the way though, so it makes some sense. But yeah, I think he's in a good position for sure.
There's just not quite enough stuff to make the mill happen.
Yeah,
right?
no Shacklet for the Avalac, no Emir, obviously. It's
Yeah, the Emir.
much less milling. It would work against a deck that thins very heavily, like discard, and doesn't expect to get milled. Because maybe you're not playing against Emir, and you're like, oh, this deck's not going to mill me. Like, I'm sure I'm going to be able to, have a few cards, and then you just start discarding, and with an optimal lineup with discard, you can actually mill to like 1 or 0 cards even. So, yeah, if you don't watch out for it, it can definitely hurt you, I think. There's a 17-point Cynthia with a Mangonel. Not a bad silver play at all.
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm just thinking.
And the Morin is it's not really denying anything other than just the 6-point value or the 5-point value. It's not really denying any abilities from the opponent. Well, Peter can deny Peter, but yeah,
Can deny Peter, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's way too early for Peter anyway. So
it looks more like it's just gonna be a
Hidden
solid
Alchemist, yeah.
18 stat gold, which is not too bad. Still doing the Torville bluff, and we all know there's only more.
He already has a deck list, so
Yeah,
I think there's no point in doing it. But it also makes the buffing with the potion a bit more awkward as well, because he has a unit there in the middle that can't get buffed. So, although he probably expects Metranos to play a unit before then, so it's fine, I guess.
Alba. So the Vatir is also pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. With the Mangonel on the board, especially.
At least getting some value. Very good pass from Gameking there in round 1, making these reveals a lot less
especially
painful.
without the Freya. It's just super important, I think. I think many players didn't really notice that. I definitely didn't until I just, oh, he's going to just res in round 2. Oh, wait, no, he isn't. There's no Freyas in Nilfgaard, so yeah, it's definitely an interesting interaction. It makes Mangonel a lot worse, I think. Also the reason why Reveal isn't really played as much as Discard. Or one of the reasons, anyway.
Yeah,
so
double
ADC,
cross.
yeah, it's still thinning a lot, and he does still have 3 Elven Mercs, so, I mean, he's not going to get milled, but it's going to be pretty close, I think.
Yeah, I like this. He's now getting the smaller minions to the front. He doesn't want to get Igni have too much impact.
And if he I don't know how many first lights. He's only running one, so I guess I think there's still going to be bronze units for Tibor to draw for Gameking, so it's not as bad. I think he does still have units left. The backend defenders got played. The Elven Mercs got played though. Maybe
I think
not.
there is a
One Dwarven Mercenary. Or,
yeah, I think one Dwarven Mercenary left.
did he not play any round 1 or round 2?
Not sure. Could be.
If he's
Yeah, but it's also like the horn is crazy, right? That there's gonna be a double horn.
yeah.
That is
And no
insane.
Coral obviously in this matchup. So
I mean, horn is anyways one of the better silver cards, but if you can play it twice,
yeah, it's huge.
it's super huge. You will play the horn for 20 stats and then hero power again. Actually, these mercenaries, they will blank.
Yeah, one's gonna draw Adrenaline Rush maybe, and not have a target. I don't know how many spells are left in the deck, but
I think he has one more potion in deck. Yeah, he can actually just play everything into the front row. He knows that there is no lacerate. So yeah.
Just to try and get the
Actually,
minimum.
no, there is no potion in deck left because he played it with Ifleen, right?
He has to get the minimum Igni value as possible, but opponent also has Peter. I guess Gameking knows all of this. He's seen the deck list, so he knows to play around most of the cards. It's not like when you're going into it without any information at all. But he has to watch out for sure with the double Igni. If he accidentally misplays into that, then that could be, I mean, 108 points already. It's looking bad.
Yeah, but we can. It's
only a card less and such a huge point difference.
I mean, I don't know. It also comes down if your Tibur will give
Yeah.
him actually something. The Glide is only 10 stats. I mean, the horn is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
This is the second horn.
No Saskia though, so
No
you
Saskia.
don't have that extra tempo boost.
I think this is.
Do you think it's close still?
I mean, now Gameking's. I mean, he has like two decent players. Actually, three decent players. But these mercenaries are really not too convincing, right? What do you do here? Just like this. I
Yeah, just about the 14. He has the 19 in the back row, or 18 in the back row anyway, so it's not too much of a difference, I think.
Interesting. But maybe it's just too many stats eventually. Like really.
Yeah, it's too much. I think it's similar to the game Zeminator played against you in the quarterfinals, or was it against you?
Yeah, I think so.
With the Reaver Hunters. That he had all the answers, but it was just not enough to counter the Reaver Hunters. He had D-Bomb, he had I think it was Peter as well. He had all the answers, but it just wasn't enough to overpower just all the tempo that you had with the 4 Reaver Hunters. I think it's going to be a similar situation. You have Igni, you have Peter, but it's just not enough to keep up.
So the mercenary is doing. Maybe he has. What does he have? Nothing. Maybe first light. He has a first light.
The first light thins the last bronze unit though, so then Tibor gets 23 value.
It's not good, right?
Yeah. I'm going to see what he does, and if he thinks to play around the Tibor.
Have strength, my love.
Yeah, he first lights. It's the last unit. If it's a Dwarven Mercenary, it's the last one.
So now the Tibor is also 23. Gold card.
I think it's still too much.
It's still too much.
Tibor's 23. Igni's worth about 22.
Yeah.
So that's 45. Spotter will be worth 14, so that's
he can't catch
59, and Peter's worth about 20 or so. So yeah, I think it's not enough.
Yeah, I think he just can't catch up.
The storm is coming.
Here. Nice adrenaline rush. Doesn't really matter. So yeah. Besides that, Gameking really has still 22 stats in the hand. Hey, this is so. The power of dwarves is so crazy once they start going.
Especially you don't have like a counter like Coral that can really provide a really big point swing. Just the single unit counters is just not enough. Like you see, every single unit is boosted. Like there's boost for everyone really. It's not just a few units. So
yeah, and if you're not really able to mill them, it's really not looking too good for you. So it's just not.
I think Coral's the only card that can go into a long round against dwarves and still feel fairly confident in being able to overpower them. Skellige in general, so yeah, it's.
So here comes the Igni and a little bit too much.
Yeah, not even really close.
It's not the 42 stat Peter, sadly.
And obviously, the longer a round is, the higher the chance there is of the round not being close at all. But yeah, 22-point lead is still fairly big in round 3.
That's fairly big. I
And I
agree.
guess that's you can see the difference between maybe a tier 1 deck and a tier 2 deck that reveal might be, or tier 3 even. So Gameking does get the advantage there. Goes up 2-1. Needs one more game to secure his spot in the finals against Mega Mogwai. So
So he has his
he has
full
full test
deck
left. Yeah, we really liked how he played it in the quarterfinal. So I think it's gonna be fun to see for sure.
So he has full test against his. Oh, I think full test does really against. It's not really a mill. I think it's not enough mill eventually.
No. I think it's just revealed with a few cards that mill a bit, but not enough to actually call it mill, I think.
And also in the fall test, how is it doing against dwarves? I mean, you have the Igni, you have the Margarita. It's not too bad against dwarves.
No, I think it's in general. I think it's fairly good. Foltest less than Hensel. I think Hensel is really against dwarves. In my experience on ladder, anyway. I think that you can out tempo round, and dwarves takes a while to set up the high tempo plays like Commanders 1 and Ethny. So you can out tempo round 1 with Sergeant into Hensel, and then just dry pass. And then if he goes into a long round 2 or round 3, you have Margarita, you have Igni. And then you also have the Reaver Hunters that do a lot of damage when you, and there's no control with the dwarves. So it's a deck that relies a lot on its own power, but doesn't control the enemy board as much. So just the Igni, of course.
Yeah, I can definitely.
So it doesn't have like an easy way to deal with Reaver Hunters, and Reaver Hunters can obviously grow to very high exponential levels.
So get rid of this golem.
No, it's not really what you want in hand round 1, I think, the Reaver Hunters. And he's not playing a Neki either, so he can't really shuffle them back into his deck and play in round 1.
What are we searching for? We want to have some
The Sergeant for sure, yeah.
You probably have to mulligan the Infantryman eventually.
He got rid of 2 already and got Summoning Circle, so not a great round 1 hand.
Oh, but starting second, that feels good.
Yeah, that definitely feels good. And he can do the same thing again, drive fast against the Mangonels.
That's really
and
painful.
And Metranos can't do anything about it. Like, he either commits the round with the Mangonels or he gets passed on, so... And if he doesn't do it, then he's just losing value every turn that Gameking does keep on playing in round 1. So there's really, yeah, I guess that's why Reveal might be a bit unfavored in most matchups right now.
Yeah, I agree. It's also, you don't have these carryovers. This Reveal.
Yeah, I think this deck in general maybe thins a bit less than Dwarves. He has Dijkstra, he has the Alzur double cross, he has marching orders and reinforcement as well, and 3 Reaver Scouts as well, and the maybe it does thin a lot, infantrymen, commandos, but it'll be close maybe. I think he's playing 15 bronze units only, so that'll be close for sure, I think.
So Reveal Sekira. He's also, Metranos kind of missing these foot soldiers.
The foot soldiers, right? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's going
I
to be
think they're very important, right? Just
to
cycle through. So,
Yeah, it was really rare that he had all 3 in hand in the last game where he could, make that huge tempo play and it started round 2.
So you buff the Reaver Scout, exactly. Does it again. I like this a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And
it evens out the tempo and it makes it so he can play 3 rounds. And
yeah, I buffed the operator also
effective.
like this, so we can just pull it with double cross. That's very cool. Yeah, Dandelion is quite an interesting card. It's cool. Yeah. Can manipulate some of the pulling cards. So as Metranos here, if you commit a second Mangonel, I mean at the moment it's not shooting much. Yeah. Probably, I think if you're going second, it's really good with the reveal, because then you can just always develop the Mangonel in a spot where your opponent will spotter goes
early
down.
Spotter. That's very interesting.
That's interesting for 5 stats, right?
I don't know why he would do that. He's losing so much value on what it is in round 3. And, I mean, if you're playing against Coral, maybe you think you want to, or Scorch, you want to maybe even them out, but...
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
But he knows the list Gameking is running, and he's not running Scorch or really anything that can punish multiple spotters in one turn. So with Pirate Captains, you do sometimes play it round 1 at 10, 11 strength instead of 15 or 16 round 3. But there's because you're playing around Scorch most of the time or BTM or things like that. But there's just no card other than the Reaver Hunters that can really affect that as much.
You think he may want to bait him into a pass so he can go into double Mangonel round or something like that?
That might be, yeah. I mean, he commits mangonels now, and sure, he wins the. I mean, because he lost the coin flip, he wins the round and card down, and it's not ideal, I think.
Hmm.
And you lose out on so much value in the next round. There's just no way to really bleed effectively, I think, with this deck.
So Game King probably just continues playing.
Yeah.
Like he can still. Oh, yeah, Metranos as well.
And with he does this without any foot soldiers in hand, so
Hmm.
he's relying on the alchemist draws in the future rounds to be able to get those foot soldiers out of his deck and not have them be just blank cards.
Hmm. So here we have, yeah, Game King. I mean, 17. He needs to develop at least 18 stats. Huh. But he can just play, right? He can just play as long he can overcome with 2 cards.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that. I mean, now Metranos is holding back the Mangonels again. But the later it gets, because they also get weaker. So it's hard to utilize them. It's very hard.
Also, again, the Avalac will be very interesting because if it draws the Sergeants for Game King, then it's a bad play, of course, to play the Avalac. It's a really bad play. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Avalac can be a bad play and a good play as well. So it really depends on what your opponent's deck is and what his draws were early on.
So yeah, copy a Reaver Hunter always feels good, man.
Yeah, it guarantees you have the chance of drawing 4 of them in round 3, which is a huge play, of course, because it's exponential growth. It's not just the stat boost. So and it's also a very dead card for the opponent. It has really no use without the other ones backing it up. So definitely good operator target. I think few decks can really run operator very efficiently. It doesn't work with all bronze units because some units have value for any kind of archetype, really. But
let's see if we can find some sergeants, huh?
draws infantry.
Oh,
No
he
sergeant
doesn't get
again. I
that.
think you were very unlucky in your first game as well. You didn't draw any sergeants, so
Yeah, against the
it's
mill
the
deck.
same situation maybe. You had 4
Interesting.
chances and you didn't draw any till round 3, I think so.
Yeah, if you don't get a sergeant, the problem is also you don't get
The buffs on everything, yeah.
Yeah, buffs and the blue stripes don't come out.
Yeah,
it's really problematic.
It makes the mulligans bad. It makes infantrymen a lot worse. They lose a lot of value.
I mean, if you at least would get like a reinforcement, you could at least pull them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a lot of a lot of odds of getting these sergeants.
And you had a lot of options. You missed out on all of them.
Yeah,
it's
it's
very low odds
very
of that
funny.
happening. So. Maybe the same thing happens to Game King. Maybe this tournament can be remembered as a tournament where Northern Realms just couldn't bring out the sergeants. They just weren't there. They were on vacation maybe. So it'd be interesting to see for sure.
So if you're Game King here, you just get the infantryman out. Huh, interesting.
It's a bit early. I mean, he doesn't want to deal with the mulligan next turn because he might have to mulligan something else.
I
have that Reaver Scouts, etc. So
yeah, he also wants to
get
get
the commandos. Yeah, of course.
The commandos out.
So he thins his deck a lot. Makes his sergeants a lot worse as well in the future rounds. Not going to be as valuable.
See, if Metranos lets him draw more here, he's actually doing him a favor. Maybe he can finally pick up this. I mean, he either needs to get 1 sergeant.
Yeah, just 1.
Or reinforcement. One of these 2.
And there's a very high chance of that because he has only 9 cards left, so it's
if
almost
either of that, he's fine.
It's almost a 50% chance to draw one of the cards he needs.
But Metranos can also opt to do a 20 stat Igni here.
That's not bad at all. Although you do know that you have the Igni chance later on with the Reaver Hunter. So.
Yeah, but this is already this basically gives you a big swing into this round, and then you can maybe make him bleed out on the Reaver Hunters in the second one.
But it's gonna be hard. I think Reveal's gonna have a hard time bleeding out. Like 2 mangonels, not that many reveal sources. No alchemist foot soldier combo. It's gonna be hard, I think, for him to bleed effectively. He did waste the infantrymen already, which are a good tool for the Northern Realms to use round 2 to avoid the bleed, the point bleed at least. So he does have that tool he does not have anymore, which can be good as well.
Yeah, it seems like Game King just wants to cycle away the weak cards here. Like, this infantry man is not gonna do anything. Can he overcome? He needs.
No, he needs 17 points and doesn't have the units for.
Maybe with DJ extra.
Oh, but that's risky.
Yeah, it's risky.
It's really risky. It's really and then if you don't draw your 2 cards down, all of a sudden it's obviously not.
Oh, actually he has it.
The
he actually has it with the.
Yeah, and the carrot.
Yeah, when you can play Kyrmits. Yeah, I think every card you get more out from the revealed player is good for you. Let's see if this comes down now. Luckily for Gameking, there are really no blanks left now, right? I mean, if he
Commando's
finally
out, yeah.
gets one of these sergeants.
Oh, he gets the Igni. So he had a 50% chance to draw what he needed there, and he does not get it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Wow, I hate the sergeants.
No, it's the same thing that happened to you.
That's
You had so
fun.
many chances, and then every time you're like expecting to have it, and then nope, not this time. Have to wait till
As
round
soon
3.
the first sergeant hits the board, there's gonna be
Yeah.
spheres. So he might actually
yeah,
win
yeah,
him this
yeah.
time. That's fun.
That's true.
There's no Neneka. Yeah, this might be very well one of the games where he gets milled.
And how many bronze units does he have left? He has 1 Reaver Scout and the 3 Sergeant. I think that's it. He's also missing the Olgierd, it looks like.
The thing is, like, the Reaver Scouts are not doing anything.
The Olgierd, and then 2 cards that thin as well. He has Marching Order still in his deck and Reinforcement. So
Wait,
there are 2 cards that...
how does he accomplish now? Place the Scout
into nothing.
to nothing. Do you think he just plays 2 cards? Might be.
Maybe he... I'm not sure what he was going for there. Maybe he wants this round to end. He wants to win this round no matter what, and be able to go into a long round 3 with Reaver Hunters. And
He wants to mulligan away the Reaver Hunters, right?
Yeah.
The spheres will actually be super important.
Yeah, really important.
Oh, he does it now. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, it's actually quite good for him that he had 3 of them, 2 of them already in the hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, sure, he got one now, but it could have been way worse.
Yeah. And unless he draws all his sergeants, he still has the Tibor still has units to pull, so it's not going to be as effective either.
Hey, these sergeants, where are we?
Yeah, the sergeants are still there, and there's 2 cards that thin as well with marching orders and reinforcement. So the cards he has left are really just and DJ extra thinning as well. Maybe he does get milled here. The Tibor's milling for a bronze unit. Oh, he already played the Albridge as well. Ah, maybe not. It's close though for sure.
Yeah,
Let's
DJ
see
extra is coming
what he
down.
pulls here. If he doesn't pull the thinning cards.
Let's see.
Sergeant.
There's the sergeant number 1. And what do you get?
And
Margarita. What does it lock? Nothing.
Spotter.
The spotter, yeah.
Value.
PogChamp. So
he has 2 sergeants, a Reaver Scout.
at least he can. I think he can Reaver Scout the Reaver Scout, and then the Reaver Scout pulls a sergeant. That's not too bad, right?
Well, it's bad if you don't want to get milled.
I mean, how much more mill is there?
He has marching order still in his deck.
Yes.
That pulls out the. Yeah, if he mills all his bronze units, Tibor gets 23 value for free. There's no more bronze units to pull. There's only 2 left. It's only Sergeant, Reaver Scout.
I like this. I like this Tremor.
Tremor, yeah, definitely a good play.
It makes the
Sergeant's worse.
Sergeant's worse.
It's the same with the discards with the long chips. When they hit the units, it makes the sergeants way worse with Hensel. Also very important to do that.
So he's actually milling him.
Yeah. Like we said, this deck thins a lot. It looks like it doesn't, but the commandos, the infantrymen, marching orders, you have 3 silvers that thin.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of thinning, so you might see another game.
Jigstraw also thins for 2, and if it would have pulled the spells, then it would be not as bad. But now he has dead spells as well. Even if he doesn't get milled, if he draws reinforcement, it doesn't pull anything. So it's like he gets
right. Yeah, I can definitely see that, man.
And he's using Reaver Scout here as well. Oh, it's not good.
I killed for less.
And he's so far behind still as well. Like the temple's not even there.
Metranos can really at some point also just consider passing, right?
I
mean, now the Gameking.
Maybe he wants to have the control of round 3 so he can Tibor for 23 points and bleed out the Reaver Hunters. It's also an option.
I mean, Kira has only 17 stats always. That's not really it.
No, it's not enough.
Igni is also not doing it.
Marching orders pulls a Reaver Scout. And then he has reinforcements left.
Yeah, the Tibor is also milling him more.
Yeah.
It's just too much, right?
For the pass.
Yeah, I like this pass. I like this pass a lot.
I do too. Especially without the infantrymen. I think the infantrymen are a super important tool. It's almost like Queen's Guard. It's almost like carryover because it's a play that makes so much tempo in round 2 in one play that it almost feels like you had some carryover going into the next round. But yeah, forcing the Netherlands player to play infantryman round 1 and not letting him win on even cards or win with a comfortable position. It's super important, I think, because you can bleed much more effectively round 2. Yeah, he's gonna have dead cards. He has 2 cards at thin and only, I think, 1 unit left, 1 Reaver Scout. And the Reaver Scout, of course, pulls nothing anyway, so he has 3 dead cards, really, in the deck.
What's this? The Vannemar... Not really. I get plus 12, it's not enough.
No. Actually, there is no marching orders in this list. I was
Yeah, at
confusing.
least you can invest the...
You're still going 2 cards down, though.
Yeah, you're going
wasting
to cover.
Kira
You
as
can
an
at least
execution.
use the Kira for carry over play. It's not too bad. It's okay-ish. No marching orders, but reinforcement.
Yeah. It's. I was confusing summoning circle with marching orders. I guess they have maybe similar cards. But yeah, it's not marching orders. So maybe he's not in such a bad position, but he does still have some pretty dead draws, I think.
Yeah, it's also about a lot about Metranos options here, right?
Like
the T-Bor for 23. So you have to mull. Yeah, it's just no, it's not sufficient. You will mill 2 cards at least, right? The fun part at this point, every milled card is just a card bunch for the opponent. Super.
Sergeant and then reinforcement draws. Yeah, it's the last card. So does he think just go for the 2-0 maybe?
Yeah, I would actually
just hope that the Reaver Hunters are enough. He has Peter, so
he probably has to do it because if he goes in the next round,
it's card disadvantage already. So
it's 1 more card you give him. Just give him 1 more card, man. Actually, Mangonels are also gonna find value with Vatier.
Yeah, we have the Foot Soldiers. The combo with Alchemist is also there. Yeah. Does he not play the Mangonels first? Maybe he's not. I think he's trying to keep up the tempo, thinking that Gameking will try and get a pass here.
I really like the idea of 2-0ing. Gameking now is exactly what's happening here. So at least the Reaver Scout is 7 instead.
I told you so.
Because of course he has the reinforcement is going to be dead anyway, so he has to do that with the Reaver Hunters.
So Peter is going to have a big impact. The Mangonels are going to deliver with Vatier. The T-Bor is huge.
It's free. Yeah, I think he can't even 2-0 him.
No, it's not. It's just not enough.
No,
right?
no, not at all. I mean, Reaver Hunters are obviously big plays and they can grow very exponentially, and maybe you don't see how much value they are at the start, but I think even then it's not enough. He's so many cards behind, 3 cards behind, only 6 points up, and his value plays are. Metranos still has very high value plays in hand, with the T-Bor especially. So
it just happened little by little, right?
Yeah.
There's like the spheres here on the Reaver Hunter. There's like
not drawing sergeants early, so you can't really out tempo. He was really far behind in tempo, so he fell 2 cards behind.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a very interesting game. It's not a matchup you see very often at all, I think. Definitely the rarest matchup in this tournament. I think it's the only matchup we're going to see Foltest against Reveal. So, yeah, very interesting match for sure. But yeah, I think it's definitely not enough. I think Gameking knows this.
Yeah, it's super interesting, especially with like these, let's say, uncommon archetypes from Nilfgaard. Just some nice variety. So, yeah. Metranos just deciding to finally play the Mangonels so he can also develop Vatier. I like this a lot. Gameking already is kind of set on this 2-0 plan, I would assume.
Yeah, because when you see the Reaver Hunters and he has his list, doesn't play Naneki, that means, Gameking's going to commit to this round. He's not going to pass. So as soon as you see the Reaver Hunter play, you can play the Mangonels because you know that you have to start getting value out of the Mangonels or else you might get 2-0'd.
So I would assume Metranos' plan here is just trying to win the round without T-Bor. And then the next round you just have just nice 23 dead gold.
I mean, Gameking has to go for the 2-0. I mean, he's not going to get it, obviously, but there's no other option, really. He's still so far behind. He still doesn't draw a card in the next round. There's no other option, really.
So...
There's nothing you could do.
You just
the Igni's going to be worth... Maybe on the spotter it can kill it, maybe, but even then, Metranos can play around it because he has so much card advantage. So,
the Vatier is not really doing much here.
No, it isn't. But T-Bor being 23 is just so much value.
So bam.
And this hits one of the Alchemists.
Yeah, I mean he knows that I think there is, yeah, exactly. There's an Igni in the list, but he says he just can't win against it, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Alba.
He plays in the front row.
Yeah.
It makes Igni only an 8 value play. He's seeing the Igni as well, so maybe it's not correct to play that actually. He can play the spotter in the front row and not give Igni any value at all.
Is it enough? But then you need to invest more cards, right?
I guess he's maybe scared of the pass as well.
I mean, it's really all about.
Yeah. It's definitely enough. I guess he was scared of the pass. He needed to tipple before.
Yeah.
Gameking passed.
So now you. Can you just Peter? No, it's.
All is in place.
I guess you can just play out all his cards. Doesn't really matter too much. He gets the triggers with the mangonels as well.
Even just kind of. He just plays Peter and has a spotter.
Yeah.
Has 2 more cards. It's just.
Yeah, it's way more than enough.
That's just it, right?
I care for them.
So Nilfgaard gets the win again.
Reveal Nilfgaard, yeah, coming in strong. Mill came in strong against us as well, so maybe Nilfgaard is the OP faction that no one knows about.
It's mainly about also the middle mechanic
Yeah.
being super strong,
Very
because
strong.
there are a lot of decks which are just relying on Finn out nowadays.
Yeah,
right?
it's just an important factor, especially in tournaments, trying to be as consistent as possible, getting decks that thin you down to very few cards, and being able to draw all your win conditions, and Mill punishes that heavily. It's definitely an interesting mechanic.
So, if this is over, we have just Metranos' pretty standard dwarf list. Pretty much the friendly dwarf from the neighborhood we will meet on the ladder. And
The full test from Gameking again. It's his last leader he has to play. We do see a little bit of a break between the players. It's definitely been a very exhausting series.
Yeah, 2-2.
When it goes to 2-2, I lived that as well in the first game. It definitely it goes on for quite a bit, so definitely good to take a break.
Was? Ja. Lass mir einen Kaffee raus. Ja, einen Kaffee.
Okay. We do see dwarves against Volta. It's going to be an interesting matchup. What do you think has the upper hand?
Interesting, right? We have like, was it dwarves versus?
So it's Gameking's full test against Metranos' dwarves.
I think the full test has a little bit of an edge.
Yeah.
They have the Margarita is super strong against dwarves.
Ignis.
Margarita is basically super Peter.
Yeah. Definitely. Especially against dwarves, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The only thing that you heard that there is no death mold.
Yeah.
The death mode is really good.
Yep.
And yeah, it's gonna be close. I think if there's Margarita, death mode, and Igni, it looks very good for the Foltest player, because death mode is so strong against the dwarves, right?
Yeah. I think Henselt is also like a bit stronger than Foltest because it can out tempo round one so early and just force a pass or go 2 cards up. So I think that's very important as well. But yeah, I mean, the fact dwarves has no control or very little control, only Igni, also makes that there's some decks that can scale faster than it, like Axemen and maybe Reaver Hunters and decks, or units that can scale exponentially. So it also makes it very hard for dwarves to keep up in tempo, maybe in a very long round. Especially with Reaver Hunters dealing the trio damage as well. It makes, for a big swing with the last Reaver Hunter coming out.
Definitely. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a very close game, and also probably a fitting finish to this series, because we are really fighting on the edge for both players here. Also having just a good time. I think it's a community event after all, and hope you guys enjoying it. Of course, we're trying our best.
Yeah, it's
Kanda
definitely
and me.
Gonna be a long event.
Yeah, definitely. It's a long day already. We're glad to present you this content, guys. I think Gwent tournaments are awesome. Like I think I've rarely seen something that enjoyable on Twitch. Like if I see these all these games, they are also all so close, and I just think it's awesome.
And hopefully the tournaments, we've seen a lot of new decks. Maybe it reinvigorates the ladder a bit before the patch as well. Maybe some players get inspired to play, some mill and ladder. Hopefully not, because I don't want to play against that.
It's interesting, though, right?
They see new decks, and the meta is really slow right now with like the patch not coming out yet. So hopefully inspire some new players or some old players to play.
Oh, this hand, though.
Yeah, commandos, infantrymen.
But yeah, you're getting there. You have blacklisted the bad
He has the
cards,
sergeants, though. He has the sergeants. Finally,
he draws the sergeants.
round one.
You're finally playing.
Northern Realms is
playing
not
it with
punished.
the sergeants. Yeah.
It's gonna be an interesting match for sure.
Yeah, but this is a very strong hand from Metranos as well. Like having Horn and Resilient Dwarfs already is super good.
The ADC as well, to thin his deck. Oh, Yeah, I guess thinning is fine. There's no milling going on here.
The support area is not really necessary in this
Ifling
matchup.
as well, very
Ifling is
strong.
so good.
Yeah.
So Gameking.
Potions are probably better from the Merc, but still very strong, I think, even in hand, to just get a lot of value with resilient units. So we'll see how we start off this match. The Sergeants is a big help. He also has a lot of Reaver Scouts, so you can shot that combo fairly quickly and get a lot of value on the Infantrymen and the Reaver Hunters as well later on. So Metranos does lose the coin flip, always an important factor to keep track of. It sways the matchup a lot, and especially the round one. So we'll see how that affects the outcome of this round.
I just developed the fault this here. Man, I really hope Metranos doesn't play the Yap in here. If he drops the Yap in here, it's gonna be a very
Epidemic,
good.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
the thing that a lot of players don't think about as well. So it's definitely dangerous.
Epidemic is a card you don't think.
Yep.
It might very easy. Like in Gwent, these matchups, it's
it's very easy.
Just
There's
a
so
little,
many things
and
to
you
think
get
about.
punished so hard.
And you think about Scourge, you're like, no, I've seen his deck, he doesn't run Scourge, there's no danger here, but then you get Epidemic, and you're like, whoops, there's definitely that card as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And with 8 strength units, you don't expect it either, because they're not small units, which Epidemic's normally what Epidemic kills, so.
I just like dropping Barclays here. I mean, Barclays is really saving you from these little mess ups. Let's see.
So it has been a long series though. Maybe Metranos is a bit
I
out
think
of it.
so. It
I
could
know
happen,
you were kind of out of it in your last game as well.
That's
Obviously,
very funny.
you lose some focus at the end of it, so we'll see what ends up happening here.
Yeah. So, you still Epidemic it, right?
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, it's a solid 11-point gold, and with the brilliance, it's +6 more, so it's 17 points. So the same as
it's more. It's
more because of the buffs, of course. Yeah.
I think I would do it. I think I really like just
Even without the buffs, it's the same value that Kira gets anyway. And you don't really need the Quen on the Reaver Hunters in this matchup at all. Not unlike Skyliga matchups. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good idea.
I would also like to see it here. It's probably the best Kira you're gonna get. So,
maybe Gameking wants to get more value out of it. Maybe he thinks that Metranos will fall into the trap and maybe play another Mecham defender.
It's quite greedy, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is pretty greedy. He goes for
he's fishing for what?
Olgerd, I assume. He has the Operator in hand already, so he does already have that assured card to really make the Reaver Hunter stand out.
I mean, still has the Epidemic option.
Unless Barclays played.
Oh, here comes this. If you just could get rid of this little dwarf, huh?
little 6 dwarf. Or if you can boost up 2 more points, like it would be ideal. Like a 24-point Epidemic on 2 resilient units, that would be, I think, just a forfeit for Metranos. It would be a huge play. So even then, just with 6 points, it's still
I still like the Kira. I would like to see it a lot here.
I would as well. But he does have to start playing the Sergeants pretty soon and starting to get value for all the rest of his bronze units. So the sequencing is definitely very important here. I think the Kira is correct, though. Also, Operator, I've seen Gameking using a lot in round 1. A lot of players save it for round 3, where the opponent can't mulligan away the Reaver Hunter, so it's also very important, and it trades, a very strong value play for yourself and very little value for the opponent.
I really like to see it.
So there's a Kira, we finally see
it. It's awesome. Because now you basically have the Shackle for the Yapen, and Metranos might just struggle on finding enough
resilient units.
These potions, it's units at all, right?
Yeah, I said it before when I was casting the other games. Dwarves in general rely so much on their bodies, on the units, and if you can get rid of those bodies, it's super important. And we've seen like top deck round 2 and 3 that have no value with potions and different cards that get so much value with the units, and also why Roach is also running a lot of dwarf decks, and you can find a lot of value with Zoltan, for example, as well.
Definitely.
And we saw that it almost won that one game a little while ago with it landing on the Millie row as well. So definitely some RNG involved, maybe for the fans of excitement. It's also a reason why.
Metranos also has to watch out that this Yapen doesn't go to 11 strength. It's just he knows that there's an Igni in the deck list, so you have to play around it, definitely. Let's see. Yeah, what the Aldir is doing very nicely is just playing around Igni from your opponent.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
And he's just going to start thinning out his deck, bringing the Reaver Scouts, taking out the Sergeants, and just buffing pretty much everything in his deck. And as I said earlier, I think Infantryman is a very important card to keep for round 2. Maybe not so much in this matchup because there's going to be carryover probably anyway, so it's not as important the bleeding in round 2, but I think it's still important as a card to have it for round 2, and also the bodies. Maybe not so much with this deck, but if you're running Knight Alex, it's very important to have a lot of bodies in Hensel decks as well.
Yeah, that's true. So what can Gameking do here? You want to see a bit more buffs before you use this Margarita. You can just pull it with the Reaver Scout. Sadly, no Dandelion this time. It should buff them a little, but sure. Everything in the front row. Yeah, I like this. But on the other hand, you could pull one of the mover dwarfs here. If you're Metranos and just move the Olgierd into a different row.
Yeah, that is true. That'd be a very big play as well. I think you also used it to move one of the Alchemists into the range row in your matchup. So yeah, it's definitely a play that people don't think about a lot with Zoltan as well. It can provide, and maybe not the dwarf player, but the opponent doesn't think of that as a possibility because it's not done as often, I think. So
yeah, that's why I like Igni in the dwarf deck also so much, because these moving effects kind of help you of manipulating. So
yeah. So we do have the 19 strength unit blocking the 18s, not only blocking the double score, the double Igni if Gameking had it, but also protecting the resilient unit from the Igni, so a very important block there. It is still a very big Igni if Gameking does have it.
I like it putting some very different. Although he can block the Igni off if you use the mover with a Reaver Hunter simply, right? Because now the Reaver Hunters always grow by 1 and protect.
But it's a big play to commit as well, just to block the Igni. If you want to have them for round 3, so
it's reasonable. It costs, but it doesn't cost you like 30 stats or something.
Especially without like Naneki or Shani being played, where you can't really res the Reaver Hunter, or maybe like there's decks that run Shani or Naneki that can bait out very odd plays because they think you're committing to the round very heavily by playing Reaver Hunter, but then you just pass. So yeah, it's definitely interesting.
This time Gameking definitely has the tools to fight. I mean, there's only Yapen, which can get Margarita. Metranos maybe wants to get away this round with an Ifleen, and Double Shackle has already buffed minions. I can see that. Definitely, I think it looks good for a Reaver Hunter, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he has only one resilient unit, which is a big problem because it's so vulnerable to lock. And if you want to win this round, you can't really Ithling, because if you Ithling into Adrenaline Rush, it's just not enough tempo to maybe win it. With cards like Reaver Hunter, obviously, as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Well, and maybe just drop the Infantryman to the front row, right?
Value.
Just drop them there. Next, here comes the Horn. The Margarita is so crazy.
Yeah, a lot of value. And there's not even that many point difference right now, so
yeah, I like this a lot. Prevents from Igni. Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's so weak to last rate, but yeah, there's.
No, that's right.
They know the deck list, so they know. Yeah, they know what they have to play around and what they don't have to play around. It's also important. It can make you make plays that and very optimal plays that you couldn't make in ladder because you're scared of different cards. So we're definitely seeing, we should be seeing a lot of very optimal plays in this tournament after they know the deck list, the opponent's deck lists.
Yeah, well, Grand is quite exhausting. Like, it really takes a lot.
Yeah, keeping track of everything is very hard.
Yeah,
if you play like a lot of a quarterfinal, semifinal, and final in a day, it's a lot of matches.
Definitely.
And long series as well in a best of 5.
So,
I mean, the Igni doesn't find much value. Ithleen is a lot of committal for this round. ADC, I'm not sure what it pulls. Probably a Dwarf Mercenary, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, I think the good thing is here, like, now this Horn comes down again, and the Margarita strikes even harder.
Yeah.
I think now you can safely just lock this off.
Yeah, it's like the Coral, same thing. After the double Horn, it's safe enough. You might
have
like one more.
Is like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And it's enough to catch up in one card and win on even without having the Dwarf player have any resilience. I mean, you did use the infantry, but he still has, very strong plays. I think
it's just
Margarita's the correct play here, and I think Metranos maybe has to pass.
24 stats plus the Shackle. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Margarita is, wow.
That's because there's no more resilient units. There's no way that Metranos would play this round out for so long without playing all his resilient units earlier. So he knows that he has no more chances to have any resilient units. And
I mean, I see Metranos' plan here. The plan is basically just
bleed out the Reaver Hunters and hope to get better top decks, maybe.
No, I think it was wanted to make Gameking at some point give up the round and then just double toggle with it lean, has 55 carryover.
Yeah, that's true as well. I think Gameking is going to know It's obviously a very vulnerability he does have in this current round. So I think he's going to play it out to the very end, and he knows he has to try and force the Iflin to play tempo at least with the potions and maybe win it that way and deny any kind of carryover.
Yeah, he's gonna try to get this super Igni out, I think.
Yeah,
He's
maybe.
gonna try with the moving dwarf. It's kind of a fifth. Yeah, here we go. And I think he's gonna try to pull the Orgear to the back. Sadly, he's. Oh, he doesn't. Oh, interesting.
No.
Maybe. Yeah.
Got
He
it.
just assumes that there is a Reaver Hunter. I can
Yeah.
also see that.
Yeah, yeah.
So now you can go for the quite good Igni.
Hmm.
Maybe the only thing you should not let Metranos do is do the Iflin double toggle, and then you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to play this out to the very end, even if it means using his Reaver Hunter, which is obviously Gameking's win condition for the most part.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he has to do it. Really, he cannot let if that double toggle goes down, then the game's over. There's especially with infantryman out. Without, I mean, he can draw into.
Wait,
Ignis
he
still.
actually he couldn't even Igni. He couldn't even Igni. He could just Igni for 14. But now he can.
Yeah, he can miss the Iflin.
Yeah, because he gets the Roach. He can Iflin because he. Oh, actually, it's not enough then, right? It's a tie.
Iflin's a double toggle. It gives 5.
Oh no,
No, the Roach is enough. Yeah.
Yeah, the double
That's
toggle.
that's game, I think.
I don't know. Where's Igni? There's Igni still in the deck, and I
Yeah,
think
there's Igni still in the deck. There's no Margarita. There's no way to res the Margarita.
it's about he has to draw Igni here,
Yeah,
and
he
maybe he
has
has a chance then.
And Metranos will have to get really bad topics, I think. But summoning circle's not. Dijkstra can draw it, maybe. We can see a lot of RNG here.
DJ Extra can definitely do it. Yeah, I think he couldn't allow him to play this Margarita, the Iflin like this.
Dandelion. He has 5 cards left. Should Metranos just dry pass here?
Wow.
Because the Elven Mercs, I guess, are decent with having 2 bodies at least above.
Yeah, fine.
The storm is coming.
Yeah, looking
Let's
very,
enjoy
very
the
dire for Gameking.
Yep. I think that pass was in round 1 was way too early, especially with the Iflin
I think it was too early.
being a big risk still.
Oh, it was a super rigorous.
Yeah. And he had the tools to win that round, I think, with the Reaver Hunters and the Operator for sure. 3 Reaver Hunters with a trio effect is a lot of damage for sure.
There comes more resilience, yay!
And he had the card advantage to play around the Igni as well. It wouldn't be as much damage, I think. So.
Yeah, sure. There are only 3 units left to buff. Actually, he has to play a Reaver Hunter first, so the Scout doesn't blank, right? But then he has to play the Operator first.
Everything all right?
So the right ordering is what? Operator into Reaver Hunter DJ?
We do see Summoning Circle.
Interesting.
This is also an interesting card. I don't think Iggy's going to get much value, but still so many in 3 cards making that much tempo up. And there is still some resilience from Metranos as well, so he has some fallback for next round as well. But yeah, it's definitely going to be. I mean, Dijkstra has to play.
Super close.
Yeah, Dijkstra's going to have to get some really big plays to make it.
If there's Igni,
there's
Igni for 43 stats, he's definitely.
Yeah. And he has to play the Reaver Hunters first because if he draws Reaver Scout with Dijkstra, it'll be a blank if he has no bronze units on the board.
The thing is, like, Metranos might be forced to play the Reaver Hunter here because the Igni will not find value, right? And Dwarf doesn't play good without a board. This is gonna be close, I think.
Yeah, I think
close, right?
Metranos might see that if he doesn't use one of these 2 cards right now, he's gonna have. Oh, so he does pass it. I think that was correct with the Summoning Circle also being a possibility. So Summoning Circle is now an Elven Merc.
A mercenary?
Which he has no bronze spells, so it's dead. Summoning Circle. So he's going to have to win it with the 3 cards he has in hand, which I think he can do if he draws Igni. But he does have to play the Reaver Hunter first.
So DJ is coming down as well.
Yeah, it's going to be very RNG heavy. Let's see if we can do this.
Boah!
And 29.
Boah, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge.
Yeah. And then he has to draw the Reaver Scout.
This is insane. Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
by a point. Oh my goodness. So
What a DJ! He really
DJ
had some
Extra
good
coming
tunes,
in
right?
strong. Definitely putting in the work.
One step,
the,
bro.
the best beats in the tournament by far.
Wow! Wow!
I mean, that was just Metranos
that was
must
just
be feeling
calculated
really
by
bad.
Gameking, right?
He does still have the resilience though, so and they're on equal cards, and he did use a Reaver Hunter, so
That was insane.
maybe it's not that bad. I mean, I think they're both really.
Now
just-
I think now it looks really good for the Reaver Hunter.
yeah, I mean.
DJ.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy to see that happen. Such a huge. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. I mean, he had 3 cards left. He had a lot of cards could maybe blank there, so and 2 maybe it's looking for Game King.
So he has to mulligan this Reaver Hunter for
Yeah,
sure.
and he has to get rid of the summoning circle. It's too risky to keep it.
Yeah.
Archer support would be.
I
decent,
think you
but-
get rid of the summoning circle, right?
although the Reaver Scout is dead if he draws it, so maybe he wants to. Oh, it's risky as well. Oh, he gets the.
I
Reaver
think that's
Scout.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
that's fine. Bro. I like this.
He had, what cards did he have left apart from the Reaver Scout? Do you know? There's just one other card left.
Well, the Haka support. Hey, boy. Hey, this is actually he just wins it now, right?
Yeah,
Did he
yeah,
trigger?
yeah.
That was insane. That just single-handedly won him. Wow. Also,
Yeah,
it's, it's
And
a
the card
deciding
he doesn't
game,
have
right?
units to buff with the potion. It's pretty
Oh,
much dead.
wow.
And he can play around Igni as well. So.
Well, he can play around everything and just be Gucci.
Oh no, the Hawker support goes in the back row.
Huh?
The Hawker support goes. Oh no, he can wait though because it's. He doesn't have to play summoning circle
He just
first.
played a reverse.
Yeah.
Play around Igni. No. Right, yeah, wherever you can play it.
Yeah. That's safer as well, I guess. Doesn't really matter, regardless. Yeah. Yeah, he wins it. Is
Crazy.
so DJ Extra filling us up with RNG. You wanted to see more RNG? Well, you got it. You definitely got some more RNG.
Actually, if he gets the Hawker support, it's not even worth it getting it right.
No,
I would just pass. But I think even Igni is 20 sets. How much is it? 20?
Igni is 18. There's a 14 in the back row.
It's
So it's not enough anyway.
It's not enough anyway. So
39 plus, yeah.
So you can just do it if you wanted.
Oh no, 20. Yeah, 20. So he wins by a point if he does Igni.
Yeah, exactly.
He does not know what card he has though. So does he? I mean, he's definitely considering the Igni. He hasn't seen it yet, and
Yeah, you can definitely do it. But there's no this does
yeah. If he counts the points, he knows he wins by 1 anyway. So it's correct to do it regardless.
Yeah.
And if it is an Igni, then it's obviously better to play the card.
What is DJ Extra just?
Yeah.
He
So
pulled
Donar-
exactly the
yeah.
right card.
Donar thought he was the king of RNG, but I guess we have a new king of RNG. We have DJ Extra coming in with the
All
Igni.
that being said, he played it in the right order.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, very, very interesting. Win by a point, so very close semifinal.
That was an insane close-up to
yeah,
the series.
definitely insane.
That was really
we knew it was going to be a really
crazy.
good matchup. We see the sportsmanship from both players. It was a really good series. I think they both played really well. I think Gameking made a mistake round 1 passing so early, but I guess luck was on his side and he managed to come back with the crazy pulls with Dijkstra.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely a fun series for sure to see. And I hope the finals is just as good because we still have a very nice finals left with 2. I mean, Mega Mogwai and Gameking both, playing
That's
some
pretty
very
crazy.
interesting decks. Full Test coming in strong again, winning the game 3. So definitely fun to see. It's a great tournament overall, I think. I mean, I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, these series are also just insane.
Seeing
right?
them, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
So,
think it's pretty crazy. We're seeing some quite uncommon stuff here.
yeah, great decks. I think some great plays in general, really good production value. I think it's turning out really well, the tournament in general. Definitely very fun to cast it and to play it as well. Although the playing was a bit short maybe for both of us.
It
But
is awesome.
yeah, it's definitely awesome in general. And Gameking is coming for the interview, the final semi-finalist interview, so I'll let you do that.
DJ Extra. Should we call you DJ Gameking?
Yeah, they should rename it in the new August patch.
Ah, but you calculated it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty. We saw it.
Maybe I did not calculate the DJ extra, but I did calculate the Igni. So like I get 6 points, Igni is like 4, and the destroy 60, so 20. So even if his last card is Igni, I'm 1 point ahead. So like the last play was not like YOLO and like lose the game. I calculated it. Igni is not enough.
Yeah, we saw that. That Igni is not enough by 1 stat. And yeah.
I
And then,
looked in the graveyard. No, there was no Igni, so Igni
very
still in the
awesome,
deck.
man. Well
And
done.
then
Well
like
done.
Summoning Circle, 6. This is I would be at 19 and he 18. Yeah,
Not too bad. Not too bad. DJ Extra.
really lucky. It's like the
It's fun. It's fun. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, nice. Congratulations, man. Well done. Hope you will have a great final series.
Thank you.
Good luck in the future and awesome, man.
Yeah, awesome.
We will go into a quick break, guys, and then be back for the finals since Gameking needs a little bit of rest, I guess, and then
Yeah.
we will have the finals ready.